It was really helpful because just taking it like one aspect at a time and then like just building on using those in the next day. So like receiving, working just like one part and then putting that aspect into the next like receiving. So like again, like the elbow, just working on that for a day and then like using that in the next day for like receiving with the ball. Going slow through it felt like it stuck with me more.
Yeah. How did you guys find out about me, and which one of you guys found me first?
I found out about you on Instagram.
Do you remember what the first video was that you saw?
I do. I think it was about your stances suck.
I've had so many people tell me that. That's so funny. How long was it between when you saw that first video to when you reached out?
Probably about a week or so, because I started watching your videos and then I saw some of and I looked at your website and saw that you had like options for training, like, because I was kind of looking for online training.
Why was the online training what you were looking for rather than in person?
I'm always looking for in person, but it's incredibly expensive for like one-on-one training, and the group training that we had dissolved and I just haven't found that. So I was just wanting something it just looked like a good option.
Had you watched many of my videos before you guys reached out to me, Connor?
I haven't really seen him. I have now, but before he reached out, I didn't see him.
What were some of the main like struggles that you were facing as you were like trying to get better at catch? What were some of those barriers that you were running into?
I'd say more like most of the struggles were with receiving. I'd say little blocking, but just work like the form, like for receiving. Like I wasn't doing a lot of the stuff like properly, and I was like losing strikes, like stuff with the elbow bent, like the elbow like moving just like with this. I wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah, makes it hard to receive when you don't do that, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Gil, what about from your perspective? What were some of the challenges that you were running into?
I was just really looking for some structure and for him to like look at it from a more, I guess, like a cognitive, like kind of knowing his mechanics. Like Connor's always had ability, but you know, the self-analytical,
Right.
I say that's just not naturally who he is.
Right.
And I think this experience has gotten him looking at those mechanics a little bit. And like in physical therapy, we call it part practice. So looking at the pieces of that and then trying to piece all together. And we were talking about, like, there's a few things you've been queuing in on that he just kept missing. But then it's like, yeah, like that's the whole thing of doing it every day, is so that you don't. So that's what I was looking for. And I love the idea of him like journaling and taking accountability for like practice patterns. That's not just for this, but it'll help him in school and everything.
Exactly. That's so cool. So Connor, we'll come back to you now. What was it like actually going through the program for you?
It was really helpful because just taking it like one aspect at a time and then like just building on like using those in the next day. And then so like receiving, working just like one part and then putting that aspect into the next like receiving. So like again, like the elbow, just working on that for a day and then like using that in the next day for like receiving with the ball. Going slow through it felt like it stuck with me more.
It's funny how when you go slow, you can actually go faster, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then Gil, from your perspective, what was it like going through it as that?
I mean, it was good for me, especially the ones where I had to be involved, like, you know, just like how to feed him balls. And I like that he started coming to me and asking me to like, can you help me with my video? Yeah, it's been enjoyable kind of seeing him. And now even like when I watched him catch the other day, or now even I watch other catchers, I see things that I never saw before.
Yeah.
like the mitt, like things that I never even saw before. Kids up on their toes. I'm like, God, their calves must be killing them. It's a very tough position. I just like that he likes to play it, and I just want to give him tools to where he can play it.
You still have a lot of room to grow in your ability, but if you were to compare yourself before doing the 4 weeks and now coming out of it, what would you say is the biggest change?
I know what you're wanting to say is probably your technique.
Yeah. Just the word.
Awareness of technique.
Yeah.
That's where something I don't think he was. I mean, he has coaches that had worked it, but maybe not so vocally. You know, they did drills and they worked it, but they didn't, probably wasn't like saying what they were doing. I think for him that was good to break down those components.
Yeah. Do you feel like you can better like articulate what is good versus bad and what you're doing now after going through it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned as you went through the program?
Say receiving the inside pitch, like the movements you're supposed to like get like around and bring that back in. It's still difficult, but after going through that, it's like it's easier for me now. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, very cool. And then Gil, last question for you. What do you see as the biggest change from your perspective?
Just, I love how he started taking it by the reins and being organized with it, and just, being aware of it, seeming to enjoy doing it. I'm hoping that like when you caught this weekend that you feel things that were like you were doing with better technique?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like I could see him being a little more cognizant of that.
That's awesome.